2022 has yet to come to an end, but following the course of the last few years, it didn't pack any punches. In today's video, you'll find out about 7 bizarre things that have happened in 2022 so far, and there's more than you can imagine. But before we start, don't forget to subscribe, drop a like and a comment, and tag along, because I'm Tiago Tadeo and welcome to the Upside Down. The Young Man and the Cactus. Earlier this year, shortly after New Year's Eve, a group of friends who were traveling to Nevada filed a report at the local police station, alleging to the police that one of their friends had disappeared in the middle of the night and had not returned. All of them had been drinking heavily and couldn't quite remember what had happened. The famous The Hangover moment. You know what it's like, right? Desperate in search of their friend, the group left along the police searchings, trying to find the missing man. They stayed together for a while, but were unsuccessful. So the officers returned to the police station to prepare for a more intensive search. Meanwhile, the boys thought and retraced their steps from the night before, trying to remember together where they had been so they could walk it all over again during the day, and of course, try to remember what happened. After a few hours, they arrived at a place full of hills and even some direct falls, and to their surprise, they found their friend trapped in a giant cactus plant, covering his face so as not to get burned. Upon being rescued, the young man said he had tripped, but no one noticed him falling down there. Lucky for him, he was kind of hugged by the cactus. The problem was that after that, he couldn't move to get out of there because of the pain that was, well, all-encompassing. So he decided to wait for the rescue. What he didn't expect was that his friends would simply ignore his screams and only show up again more than 10 hours later. Who needs enemies with friends like these, right? Human sandwich. In Europe, a man was mad enough to cover his whole body in slices of bread and went to the beach to see what the bird's reaction would be. This one wasn't very happy with his life, right? He thought it would be a very funny prank, but ended up being attacked by a very large number of birds. Worst of all, he said he didn't calculate the pecks and grazes that left his body full of marks, bruises, and scratches. The idea was to record a video for his social media, but the joke got out of hand and he had to spend the night at the hospital. The boy had to get vaccinated and even get into a routine of antibiotics, as some of the diseases that birds like this can transmit are fatal to humans. So if I could give you a tip, it would be this one. Don't be that guy, and don't dress up in bread to go to a beach, okay? Mobile hive. Sometimes, life is really cruel, putting us in very shameful situations, even if they're life-threatening, you know? This was a case of a man who almost lost his life in the middle of a dirt road after he achieved the incredible feat of running over a passing queen bee. In fact, he didn't actually harm the bee. She managed to get into his bike and ended up choosing that place to stay. The problem is that as he continued driving more and more, bees were accumulating on his dashboard. After taking a series of stings, the man decided to jump out once and for all. As he did so, he realized he was in the middle of nowhere with no cell signal and no way to get on the bike again. The bees decided that they would make their home there after all. The queen had already made the call, right? So they started building a beehive on the bike. As he knew the region, he knew that he was many hours away from anywhere inhabited and was desperately trying to ask for help. Luckily, someone was returning from a trip at that moment, and after a few hours, he ended up finding the man and rescued him. The most tense thing about it is that in addition to almost dying from a beehive, the man still had to look for a beekeeper to be able to recover his vehicle later. The giant. A very bizarre event happened in a city in the United States one cloudy morning when the police station received a series of calls. They were so frightened by the apparition that they decided to call the police to report the incident. What they didn't expect is that other people would have the same impulse, showing that something could have really been seen by them among the mist. However, despite this, many people claim it may have just been a very well done prank by a group of people who wanted to pull one on the police, which would take tremendous audacity and even constitute a crime, right? But as nowadays, people do anything to gain views, it is still possible for a YouTube channel to appear and declare themselves as the author of this prank here. After the case became popular, some people made artistic representations of what would have been the thing they saw that day. Comment what you think about this case. Have you ever seen anything like it? No stairs. Having to wake up to work the first week of the year is not an easy task for anyone. You just got out of your festivities and just want to be able to continue eating the banquets and enjoying good times with your family and friends, right? It's quite understandable, guys. Don't worry. However, worse than having to do this is going out to do it and being stopped by something very bizarre. Well, that's what happened to Olivia Crump, a resident of the state of Georgia in the United States. In an interview with the local newspapers, Olivia said that she had gotten ready to leave for work that morning, but as soon as she opened the door to her house, she almost fell down from 4 floors high because the company that maintained the stairs of her small apartment complex had removed the stairs without any warning. They just went like, "Man, I'm going to take this ladder out because I don't think anyone will use it, right? What's a ladder for? To go up and down. But I don't think anyone will do that today, right?" Well, according to the company, they had an urgent problem that could put everyone's lives at risk and needed to renovate the entire staircase so they could solve it as soon as possible. The problem is that they really forgot to warn the residents, believing that no one would be there at that time of year. With that, Olivia was trapped in her apartment for about 8 hours with only her dog Mike for company. Well, at least there was Mike, right? The Last Wizard. The upcoming 2022 event may seem like a joke, but in a city in New Zealand, a lot of things were reworked in the government, removing what was considered unnecessary. What caught everyone's attention about this was the presence of one removal in particular, because this year would be the first after 2 decades that the city's official wizard will not have his salary guaranteed by the government. Yes, since 2002, there had been an official wizard in the government who was supposed to be responsible for helping matters and bless all public servants. Now, what is difficult to know is if this wizard knows something that he has not told us, or if he has just a very powerful silver tongue, right? Steel rain. Last but not least, in an unspecified city in the United States, this photograph was taken in the morning after an intense storm caused by a hurricane. The person who took the photo has no idea who this quadricycle belongs to, saying that he woke up in the morning and was faced with the image of the hanging object. He stayed there to warn people who passed under it to be careful, as the thing was only being held by its handlebars in an emergency cable. After a few hours, the fire department managed to go there to remove the vehicle. Imagine if this had hit the head of someone who wasn't looking up, right guys? The scene of this quadricycle coming from the sky and being stopped by a wire must have been something worth seeing, right? From afar, obviously. Well, this video will be ending here, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. If you've seen something weird happening this year, leave it here in the comments. I want to know your opinion, okay? See you in the next video then. Be well, and until next time. Thanks.